Hello there. It's a bit of a different one again today. We're going to go through some DVDs. That's a tail, by the way. This is Squirty. Some of you may have seen him, some not. He doesn't really want to be held right now. He's fighting. Anyway, we're going to go, and he's probably going to knock the camera over. Anyway, we're going to go through some DVDs I've watched lately and do some movie reviews. Just for fun. Anyway, we're going to start City Slickers. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's great. It was made, 91? Anyhow, some comedy western. Jack Palance, Billy Crystal. Very funny. There's a sequel as well. I watched that the other day. Well, the other week actually. But I haven't got the DVD to show you, so we're just going to talk about both films. They're great fun. You should watch them. Oh, and Hey Marge, before I forget. Anyway, they're good fun, and it's always got Daniel Stern in it. And if you're wondering who he is, if you don't know the name, he's one of the crooks from Home Alone films. But these are better than Home Alone, far better. Anyhow, film number 1 and number 2 officially out the way. And next we've got a horror, Midsummer. Very disturbing, but quite entertaining. Who's in it? Florence Pugh and a lot of other people I've never heard of. But it's a good film. You get people like go to this retreat in Sweden, and all sorts of things happen. Where they like disappear one by one, and they're all being cut up. Sort of thing you'd want to do to peepers, wouldn't you? Yeah, that's what needs to happen to the peepers. Anyhow, it's a very disturbing film, and but it's an entertaining horror, and it's good. So watch that if you want to. If you want to see people cut up and like dismembered and whatnot, if that's your sort of thing, then like Baby Marge likes a horror, don't you, Baby Marge? You will enjoy that. It's a good film. Should we rate them? We'll give City Slickers 1 and 2. We'll give them a 7. We'll give this a 7.5, I suppose. Yeah, we'll give that a 7.5. Interstellar. Why has it taken me 9 years to watch this film? It's the best film I've seen in years. He's got Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, Michael Caine. Matt Damon's in it for a little bit as well, but I gotta be honest, Matt Damon's character is a bit of a tosser. Yeah, a bit of a creep, actually. Anyway, yeah, great sci-fi film. It's about a 3-hour job, but it's really good. You won't regret watching it. We are going to give that a 10 because it's the best film I've seen in years. Now the films are going to get worse. I've gone through the good ones. Evil Elves. I don't really know where to start with that, and the cat's back again, and he's waving. Go on, Squiggle. Go and play, mate. Evil Elves. This is 1 hour and 17 minutes of my life. I feel like I flushed down the toilet. It is appalling. Appalling doesn't come close. If you could think of the worst film you've ever seen and times that by 32, you've got Evil Elves. We're not even going to give it a 1. We're going to give it a 0.2. I think if it had been any longer than 1 hour and 17 minutes, I might have put a pistol in my mouth and blown my head off because it's so bad. I think I could go out tonight and just with this phone and record something out on the streets, like sheep crossing the road, people being robbed because we live in Tredegar and that's what happens. And yeah, it's an appalling film. Don't watch it. Ever. Unless you get visited tonight and someone tells you you're going to live 1 hour and 17 minutes longer than you were supposed to. But don't waste 1 hour and 17 minutes of your current lifespan watching this pile of tripe. That's one. And we've got a couple more then. Biggles. I think this was made in like 1986. Anyway, Biggles. If you don't know who Biggles is, if you've not heard of the Biggles books, he's like this World War I fighter pilot. And anyway, he's got a time twin from 1986, and they sort of like cross over between time zones. It's ridiculous, but it's fun, and it's got Peter Cushing in it. Rest in peace, Peter Cushing. because and the cat wants to go out by the look of things, but he's not going out because it's peeing down outside. And Biggles is fun. We'll give that a 7 as well. And yeah, it's a really good fun film. Stupid, but fun. So Peter Cushing and Neil Dixon. I think Neil Dixon had a little spell when he was in Sliders for a little bit, if you're old enough to remember Sliders, because it was a good show. And what should we look at now? Oh, the one I watched tonight, A Few Best Men. Don't confuse it with A Few Good Men, because that's like some gritty courtroom drama, blah 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 blah. This is fun. It's a ridiculous comedy. I think it's from 2011. It's not an Oscar-winning epic. It's got that big beastly woman in it, Rebel Wilson, the big fat Australian, and it's got Chris Marshall from, what was he in? He was in, what's that program he was in lately? Well, not long ago. Anyway, he was in Love Actually, and he was that Caribbean program. I can't remember what it's called now. Anyway, he's funny. The film's funny. It's ridiculous. There's a big sheep in it called Ramsey, of all names. What is it what people call Ramsey? And it's a very ridiculous film. I can't review the Barbie movie because I'm not going to watch it. Little Miss Honeypot, Baby Marge, I know you want to see the Barbie movie. You don't really. I'm just trying to wind her up when she's watching the video. She's not that sad. She would never watch rubbish like that, would you, Baby Marge? Baby Marge. Anyway, Marge as well. I said hello earlier, but just saying hello because I'm bored and making a silly video. I wonder if there's any other DVDs here which we watched lately which are good or... Oh, Raised by Wolves. I haven't finished watching this yet. Good sci-fi series. I watched like the first half of the series. It was from Ridley Scott. It's quite good. I don't know really what to review of it to say because I haven't finished watching it. But from what I've seen so far, it's pretty good. So you might want to watch that. It's quite, that's quite good. What else is there here? There's a few bits here. Oh, that's a film and a half there. Just digging things which I've watched in the last few months now. The Pallbearer with David Schwimmer from Friends, who is the greatest character in Friends because he's such a doofus, that's the word we'll use. And Gwyneth Paltrow's in it. That's a very funny film. Mistaken identity, and someone who died, and I can't remember exactly. I'm waffling a bit, aren't I? Yeah, that's a funny film. That's worth watching. Nothing else here, is there? Let's see what else we can find now. Anyhow, I just want to grab a couple more DVDs. First ones I could grab off the shelf and do a couple more. Caligula, but the Emperor of Rome Caligula, played by the rather menacing Malcolm McDowell, who never plays a bad part, but just looks like a very menacing character, as he always plays. Anyway, this is very disturbing. Lots of blood and guts, people being cut up. If you don't know your history, Caligula was a horrendous human being. He was so horrendous, he could probably get a job in Asda Blackwood. He's that much of a scumbag. But, he's always been being the Emperor of Rome, and he kills lots of people, and in very disturbing ways, cutting people's heads off, and all sorts. And this is the uncut edition as well, which is more disturbing than the original edition. And then last one, we'll talk about an old classic, Lady Hawk, with Rutger Hauer, Matthew Broderick, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Don't know the story. Rutger Hauer and Michelle Pfeiffer, they have two people who fall in love, and some evil bishop puts a spell on them, so she's a hawk by day and he's a man by day, and then by night he's a wolf and she's a woman, so they can never be together, not as human and human, but he's either the woman with the wolf or the human with hawk. And it's a brilliant film. It's an absolute classic, actually. If you don't like this film, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, I've waffled on for long. I'm going to bed because I've got work in the morning, and you can say, yes, I watched John's pointless movie reviews. and you can either agree these films are good or they're bad. But if you watch Evil Elves, don't ever speak to me again. Anyway, shout out to everyone. Tyrone, Marge, Lost Bricks, Rob. Hey Rob, with your Lego collection that's worth more than most people's houses. Anyway, time for bed.